Excellent. Welcome, 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 everyone. I am Christina Francis, Executive Director of JFFLabs. Thank you so much for taking the time today to join us for our demo day. Before we get started, I wanted to give just a little bit of background on our organization and our Entrepreneur in Residence program, which we may refer to throughout this program as the EIR program. For nearly 40 years, JFF has committed to transforming education and workforce systems so that all Americans have opportunities to achieve economic advancement. We have a track record of delivering high impact design, technical assistance, knowledge development, advisory, peer learning, professional collaboration to projects across the ecosystem that expand economic mobility and wealth creation for individuals, particularly those from systemically underserved populations. JFF's practices and centers in our Field Solutions Group have expertise in workforce and education ecosystems. And as many of you know, JFF recently reorganized so that we can continue to fulfill our mission of economic advancement for all. And we set a North Star. So over the next 10 years, by the time we turn 50, we'll want to support 75 million Americans who have experienced barriers to get a quality job. And for us, a quality job means jobs that pay family sustaining wages, that provide autonomy, that provide health benefits, that have predictive or flexible schedules, cultures that are supportive of all employees, and opportunities for advancement. Quality job can also mean a job that one creates for themselves and hopefully scales into a business that then creates new jobs for others. What we know, though, is that students, workers, learners continue to experience challenges and inequities in the education and work continuum. So to meet our North Star, we must transform existing systems, we must bridge new models with traditional systems, and in many ways, we have to create new models, new modalities of acquiring skills, jobs, credentials, and overall meaningful work. As JFF's innovation arm, JFF Labs really drives innovation by providing market insights, incubating solutions, and investing in companies. We support innovators from their idea to implementation across the fundraising continuum. We scan the market, we identify innovations and trends, we deepen our understanding of what it takes to implement leading edge technology at scale, and we help our innovators to bring to market their ideas. Over the last 5 years, JFF Labs and JFF Ventures, our impact investment arm, has evaluated nearly 5,000 early stage companies. We've amplified 682 solutions. We've highlighted 118 innovators to watch. We've invested in 46, maybe 47 companies after the next couple of weeks, and we've incubated 31 entrepreneurs. Our signature program, our EIR program, is the program in which we identify and recruit entrepreneurs who generate and validate new models, solutions to address some of the most challenging opportunities for workers and learners. We had EIR cohorts focused on work-based learning technology, immersive technology, assessments, career navigation. The cohort that you'll hear from today includes 6 amazing, truly amazing entrepreneurs, all who have businesses that focus on creating innovative pathways to technology careers. We identified this theme in alignment with our JFF strategic focus on integration of work and learning. I've enjoyed all of our cohorts. There's something special that happens each time we bring these talented individuals together in a group who are committed to not only solving the problems of their business, but also committed to helping one another. And just a little tidbit about this group, just last week, they were all at ASU GSV, and they actually stayed in an Airbnb together. That's the family that we build here. And as I wrap up, I want to thank Cognizant Foundation for their support and partnership for this program, and specifically their direct support to this current cohort and our last cohort that focused on career navigation. And I also want to thank Heather Trenzio, Lauren Iannito, our JFF mentors, our industry mentors, for really devoting your time and talent in support of all of these amazing entrepreneurs. And with that, I'll turn it over to Heather. Again, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Christina, who's our amazing leader and such a great supporter of this program. Hi, everyone, and welcome. So excited to have you here today. I'm Heather Terenzio, a director here at JFF Labs. And together with Lauren Iannito, we are leading JFF's EIR Accelerator Program. This has been such a transformative experience for all of us involved with these amazing entrepreneurs. And we are so excited to have you all here today. Our peer-to-peer model in our EIR program makes us different from most accelerators. While we are building skills and troubleshooting common company growth issues, We are also building a community of contacts, vendors, ideas, and solutions. The result of our peer-to-peer learning is that our cohorts create really strong bonds, as witnessed in the VRBO example, and we all become really invested in each other's success. So we leverage each other's insights and networks and contacts to help accelerate each other's growth. So this has turned out to be a really powerful model for us, and we're excited to keep it growing and keep building upon it. Okay, so some logistics here for all of you today. This is a YouTube live chat that you should all have access to. After each pre-recorded presentation, the entrepreneur will come back on screen live and we'll have 5 minutes of questions. So if you have any questions, please enter them in the YouTube live chat. Also add your name and email next to your question. So if we do not have time to get to your question, we'll reach out, the entrepreneur who it's directed towards will reach out after demo day, and we'll be able to answer your question. So with that, let's get started. For our first presenter, I am so pleased to introduce you to Rod Danon. Rod's an entrepreneur from Miami who is building an exciting company called Prentice. Prentice is rethinking equity in the job search process for a new generation of workers. Everyone, I'm pleased to introduce you to Rod Danon today.
Hello, my name is Rod and I'm founder here at Prentice, where we're building a job search that's fair, fast, and fun for everyone. To give you a little bit about my background, so I'm a first generation immigrant, and when I was coming out of college, I thought if you had the skills, you get the job. Turns out I was wrong, and I didn't understand that job searching is a game. A couple years later, I was teaching at boot camp called Thinkful, and I see my data science students coming out again with crazy skills, but just could not get a shot at their dream job. And I realized it's because job searching is a game that not everyone knows how to play. There's no guidelines. People come in and there's all these resumes, networking, all these other things you have to do just to get a shot. And then from there, it's excluding people from, marginalized communities or immigrants that don't know the rules. And it leads to burnout, which is preventing tons of talent from entering the system. And on the employer side, they're suffering too, because what happens, they are still relying on resumes to discover who actually has this talent. And they don't know who has the skills because they're relying on experience. And also, these employers are looking at the same senior talent. They're fighting and fighting, having long hiring cycles and spending thousands, tens of thousands of dollars just trying to get this one hire when there's a talent pool that they haven't tapped into. So with Prentice, what we're doing is building a job search that's fair, fast, and fun for everyone. And it starts first with our AI-powered job search platform. So users come on and they get all these tools from AI career coaching to job tracking and ways that they can actually level up their job search. And with these tools, they start competing in a game. So level 1, they start preparing resumes, LinkedIn. Level 2, they start networking, and so on. And we keep them motivated throughout the job search. And that way also they have a clear guideline so they know what to do next, and it makes it more accessible for everyone. And as they do this, they earn career points, they go up the leaderboard, and that's something that can be used by employers. So employers go to the leaderboard and they see right away, okay, here are the people that hit their goals consistently, help out in the community, which means they would be a great teammate, and also are, being proved by skills, not the resumes. So it's a great system that works and equalizes the system. And the way we will also do in the future is contests where they can post their own contests and allow people to compete for interviews and other prizes. And with our talent base, it's not just the individual signing up. So, someone might come from LinkedIn, but a lot of our talent base actually comes from our network of schools and communities. So these communities love Prentice because it gives them an all-in-one platform to run the career services. And with that, they plug into a network of communities and employers so they don't have to build from scratch. And since everything's pretty much automated, they can save time for their coaches and scale without scaling their headcount. For the market, so we refer to something called professional communities. So with that, we have about 1,100 boot camps and nonprofits, then 2,000 community colleges. So those are, again, marginalized communities. We're looking at a really diverse background. And then the untapped field is career-focused networks. So this might be a 8,000 person Discord with designers or a 5,000 person Slack with a bunch of developers. And there's so much talent just hidden inside there, but right now it's not being able to be accessed. So they'll be able to use our apprentice tools as well. And on the job recruiting market, we all know it's a giant market and continuously growing. So it's 171 billion right now across the entire world for online recruitment. We estimate about 10% of that will be dedicated to early career recruiting and specifically tech recruiting. And then revenue share would be about $4 billion that we can actually go ahead and tackle. So we believe that that's something we can claim, especially if we are able to, untap this market and show people talent that they didn't know existed before. In terms of how we make money, so there's a few different ways that make us really resilient in any economic environment. So first, there's a SaaS fee that we charge schools and communities, and that's usually around $10,000 per year, and that gives them the job placement platform to be able to use our network and our tools. Then if an individual wants to sign up for job search tools themselves, so maybe they come from LinkedIn or they're not associated with a community, they could pay $15 per month, which is average of about $60 a search. Then for employers, they can do $10K per year for their subscriptions, and that lets them access talent across all the schools on our network and access the leaderboard to see the top people. And finally, there is a marketplace component. So if communities want to charge members or employers, they can do so, and we take a 5% take rate. And so far, we've had some great early traction. We've done it all 100% bootstrap with zero debt. And still, we've been able to reach 4,600 community members so far, growing 26% month over month. This is across 20 paying communities, which gives us 50K ARR today. And the users so far have been really invested in the platform already. So we have 70% day 30 retention, which is usually 3 to 4 times as much as any other platform. And because of that, it's given us a good base to even build upon. So by 2024, our breakdown will be something around these lines, where we have about 3.2 million coming from recruitment marketplace of employers, then 1.6 coming from placement platform. The job search tools we estimate to always be a small amount. It's mostly a marketing channel to get us more schools. And then transaction fees will start growing, but it'll be only around 400K then. And the reason we win and we'll be able to hit these goals is because Prentice is very uniquely positioned. Usually all these other schools and platforms, they have tools everywhere. So no one knows what to use, no one knows where to go. But what we do is we combine community, so the best parts of Circle, Slack. Then we have job search tools. So Teal, Hunter, they're great, but they only do one thing. They don't connect people as well, and they don't connect to employers, which is where the talent network comes in. And the reason we beat something like Handshake is because we've really been focused on job seeker experience first. We're making sure that it's enjoyable, something people want to come back to each day, and that they don't burn out of, which is not what we have heard from our research talking to students from there. And today we are actually in, as I mentioned, 20 different boot camps. That's where we've started out because that's where my background is. And we have some great schools like Upright, and they've given us great reviews. Like, it's 5 stars the most I can give, which is a real quote. Next up in our pipeline, we have a bunch of larger schools that we're in the process of closing, from CompTIA, App Academy, General Assembly, FIU, Thankful, all the big names. So 150K in pipeline coming up with more to come. And once we build this little base of schools, we have a base of talent that's continuously going to be coming to our platform and is being managed partly by their partners. And as we get this base of talent, that'll bring in more employers. And with employers, they'll bring in more communities that are looking for employer partners. And once this flywheel starts going, growth will be pretty much automated. And that's why we need $1 million to reach $5 million in ARR by 2024. That'll allow us to launch a couple things. So 1, our skills contest, which will help people evaluate talent. 2, improving gamification for all different user types, so really turning it into a video game. And then that way we can hit 1,200 employers to hit 3.2 million ARR, 250 communities to reach 1.6 million ARR, and then 150,000 members, which about 2% of them would be paying. A final ask for JFF. First, intros to strategic angels in higher ed and workforce, so exited founders are great. Then 2 would be intros to Fortune 100 companies that are hiring in tech. We are giving them innovative ways to tap into new talent, reduce the hiring cost. And then last is intros to the C-suite of the top 10 boot camps. So looking for this market to build a monopoly first, and any contacts would be highly appreciated. Thank you so much, and let me know if you have any questions.
Rod, awesome presentation. I can't wait for our audience to hear more about Prentice. It looks like one of our first questions that came in is around AI. And the question is, could you share with us how you're integrating AI while building your company?
Thanks for the question, Lauren, and thank you everyone for joining today. So in terms of integrating AI into the company, so we look at overall job search. A lot of it can be automated with AI, and we are early movers on that by integrating ChatGPT. In the future, we see a blend of AI and humans. So I think humans will always be a core part of the equation for getting people into dream jobs. So we'll stay on top of things, try to automate as much as we can, but always include humans in the process.
Thank you for that. Rod, so many people are impressed with your traction and they want to know, how do you plan on building out the team to accelerate growth?
Yeah, so until 2 months ago, I was just a solo founder building this all out, and I'm really ready to bring on a team. So last month, I brought on a sales and marketing co-founder who's going to be announced soon, former Zenefits. Then from here, I actually talked to a marketing candidate today that they're going to be great, have experience in the field. We also want to bring on a designer. Since it looks like a game, we need great design to be able to engage people throughout the process. And then an engineering leader. So once we have, basically our starting five in there, we believe that the sky's the limit.
Awesome. This next one's around pricing. Can schools afford $10,000 a year, or is this subsidized by grants, especially for public schools? And as a follow-on, is the 10,000 and 12,000 for schools and companies a fixed fee, no matter the size of the institution or number of jobs/users?
Gotcha. So to clarify, when we say schools, we are referring mostly to higher education. So boot camps, alternative education, nonprofit programs, and in the future, professional communities as well. And for them, there's a range. So the price we included was an average, but we have kind of like mid-size, small size that might be around 6,000 per year, closer to that. And then for larger enterprise clients, they'll be somewhere between 30, 50, up to even 100,000 per year, based on size of the student body.
Great, thank you. It looks like we're seeing a trend in the chat around this next question. Can you talk to us about why does someone need Apprentice when they have LinkedIn?
Yeah, so LinkedIn, it's a creative platform today. Yeah, you post there, you learn stuff, and it's great, but the job search process hasn't been optimized. It still sucks. So what we want to do is make sure that one, the job search is fun by providing a gamified experience. Two, giving you all the tools that you need, from job tracking to AI career coaching, and a community that's tailored to you. And then three, employer connections, but in a new way that's not just, hey, here's my experience again, which isn't really useful when you don't have experience. So once we have this whole tool set and give it to job seekers, we're going to be able to increase access to high paying jobs across all demographics.
Thank you for that. It looks like our audience is commenting about how starting with the bootcamp market is smart, but there's a question about how it might not be big enough for venture scale. Could you talk to us about how you plan to grow beyond that market?
Yeah, so I started with boot camps because that's my background. I used to be a boot camp mentor, and I had good connections there. But with the sector itself, it is smaller for now, but it is growing, usually around 15% per year. And then from here, there's a whole new way that people are job searching. People aren't going to school automatically. They're going to YouTube, Udemy, and they're joining online communities, and that's their career services basically. So if those communities can use Prentice to provide a little bit more structure with the job search, then we have a career pathway for every individual, no matter what path they're taking.
Perfect, thank you. And I think we have time for one more question. It looks like this comes from the audience. I'm interested in the schools part. Can we tap into a little more detail on the benefits they get from using Prentice?
Yeah, so for schools, every school is being judged now based off of one thing. Can you get your students hired? And Prentice is the number one platform for doing that because we reduce job search by up to 50%. We're able to increase job seeker engagement by 3x, and that's just with V1. It's going to be even higher in V2. And then everything can be tracked in one place. So again, we said technology and humans. So we're using technology to automate all the boring stuff. That way, students can get more one-on-one time with existing coaches. And because of that, there's great outcomes for all, and we're able to increase placement rates across all types of technical schools.
Perfect, thank you so much. Please continue to drop your questions or thoughts in the chat. As Heather mentioned, please include your contact information. And if we don't get to your questions throughout today's presentation, we'll make sure that our entrepreneurs reach out to you directly. And I'm going to turn it back over to Heather to introduce our next entrepreneur.
Oh, thank you so much, Rod. Appreciate that. Next, we have Jennifer Robertson, who is the COO and co-founder of Quasar Silicon Valley. They are taking the apprenticeship model and applying it to the most technologically advanced jobs in the industry, something not easy to do. Please help me in welcoming Jennifer Robertson.
Hi folks, my name's Jennifer. I'm with Quasar Silicon Valley. We do advanced engineering apprenticeships and are building the largest training company for early, mid, and senior level software engineers. If we look at the software job market right now, about 77% of open jobs are not covered by apprenticeships. Like there are no apprenticeships that exist in those areas. They're the three large chunks you can see: back-end software engineering, DevOps cloud, and then embedded engineering. And these areas obviously experiencing significant growth, upwards of 25% through 2030, which is adding about 400,000 jobs. What's interesting is that a lot of CS degrees don't really cover these areas. They don't do embedded engineering. It's kind of gray area as with DevOps cloud, and then even back-end software engineering. A lot of the programming languages and skills that companies want aren't ones that are actually covered in CS courses. And if we look at existing apprenticeship providers, most of them are focused on that yellow slice, which is pretty small. It's web development. There's a few that do full stack, but that's about it. And so we're going after the three largest chunks in the market. We partner with companies to create advanced engineering apprenticeships. You can see in 4 areas, it's those blue boxes there: DevOps, site reliability, embedded engineering, backend software engineering, and then AI machine learning. And again, most of the existing players in the market are all focused on the lower levels, things like web development, tech support, IT help desk. And there's actually a huge gap in terms of technical skills, competency, really cognitive difficulty between being a web developer and then being a back-end software engineer. And so what our team is really good at, we're really good at training engineers. We've been doing it for a long time, particularly software engineers. So, if companies are looking to get into this space, certainly, acquisition is probably the fastest and best way of getting there. So a bit about our team. We come from Europe. So, Europe has been doing advanced engineering apprenticeships for decades. And so we want to see a lot of those apprenticeships come over to the US. We, estimate our SAM to be about 200 million for the apprenticeship market in the US alone, as we expand globally, and then also into the mid and senior level engineering market. The SAM goes up to about 800 million in a $339 billion corporate training market, which itself is growing as well. A bit about our team. We have 2 decades working in specifically advanced technical training. Kwam and Gaetan were both early employees and founders of 42, which is an internationally recognized software engineering school built by or funded by like the French equivalent of Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. Kwam's also founding team of Epitech, which is France's largest private university, which is actually accredited by the Department of Labor, just like apprenticeships are. Myself, my background is in K to gray, as they say. So I've seen K-12, traditional higher ed, and then also nonprofit and adult education. So you can see a bit of our work from things we've done previously. Again, this was before Quasar, some photos there. We had a robotics lab, a virtual reality lab, and then a self-driving car labs. So again, we're just really good at training advanced software engineers. A bit about how apprenticeships work at Quasar. They're split into 2 parts. There's 3 months of related technical instruction or training, and then anywhere from 3 to 9 months on the job where apprentices join software engineering teams. Essentially, in the training, there's the core curriculum, and then we customize according to the company's tech stack or specific skills that they're looking for. Things like Rust, Go, C++, whatever they're looking for. We use an advanced experiential learning platform, which has a lot of automations, data, and AI, which helps us to scale quickly and then also keeps our costs low. A bit about our model. We charge $10,000 per apprentice, which is paid to Quasar. Then the employer will also pay the apprentice salary, which is based on competency progression. We do have other revenue as a business as well. We actually license our platform internationally, brings in pretty good revenue and does have minimal expenditure. We also run direct-to-consumer training programs, which really serve as like pre-apprenticeships, which feed our apprenticeship programs. In terms of some unit economics here, our cost per apprentice is approximately $1,000, which includes an apprentice acquisition cost. Our customer acquisition cost is about $10,000 with an average deal size of anywhere from 20 to 50. And then we're estimating lifetime value for small to medium-sized enterprises, about 200,000, and then multinational enterprises, about 1 million upwards. Our time to close is currently sitting anywhere from 3 to 9 months. So a bit about our revenue. Last year we did 353,000. This year we're looking at 1.3 million, and then pushing 3 million in 2024. We have 2 million in pipeline right now. You can see some of the companies there, including a $500,000 workforce grant in Colorado with 5 signed letters of intent or support from engineering companies. In terms of where revenue comes from, you can see the graphs here. They're same thing, just 2 different visualizations. It's revenue for 22, 23, and then 24. Obviously, 24 B2B revenue is growing quite significantly just as we close our pipeline this year and then on into next year. A bit about our go-to-market. We're looking at focusing on key states that are apprenticeship friendly and that also have grant funding available, California, Colorado, the DMV, Massachusetts, and Texas. We're also looking at specific industries, particularly ones that need embedded engineers or back-end software engineers. So things like hardware, autopilot, IoT, banking, military, space as well. And then we also work and have the support of a lot of state and regional groups, including the apprenticeship divisions at the Department of Labor for Maryland, California, and Colorado, as well as the Northern California Apprenticeship Network and the Bay Area Council. So we are raising $1.5 million to really drive revenue. We want to take advantage of the market and really focus on growing our apprenticeships, which includes some grants. We want to focus most of our sales and business development activities and team in 3 states and in 3 focus industries with the goal of generating $7.5 million in annual revenue, which translates to about 350 apprenticeships across 50 to 100 companies by end of year 2025. So we're looking for investors, folks who want to contribute, work with us. So please reach out.
Jennifer, that was a great pitch. I'm really looking forward to diving into some of these questions that have started to come in. It looks like the first question is around scaling. It says other apprenticeship providers encounter challenges around scaling their programs. Could you tell us a little bit about how you all are different?
Thanks, Lauren, and great question there. So a lot of the other apprenticeship providers, they tend to work on a ratio of like apprentices to managers that's anywhere around like 1 to 10 or 1 to 15. But we managed to get to a ratio of more about 1 to 200. And largely the way we do that is kind of 2 things. It's the learning model that we use, and then also we have a learning platform, like an experiential learning platform. So on one side, apprentices should be and are designed to reflect what happens in the workplace. When it comes to all things software, you're working on projects, you're working in teams, you're doing code reviews. And so that is the learning model that we have. We don't use knowledge transmission, which means we're not relying on like hiring an instructor to deliver the knowledge. It's learning by doing. The other part, obviously, the platform. So our platform enables this learning by doing. Which means, it has a lot of data, has a lot of automations, AI built into it, essentially enables us to keep the cost down, but it scales. I mean, it's also scaling infrastructure. And so that's how we hit the ratio of more 1 to 200.
Thank you for that. The next one, it says, you mentioned grants in your presentation. Grants are nice, but they can come to an end. What does that mean for your business, your retention, and your ARR?
Yeah, so we see grants really not as a way to sustain our apprenticeships, but as a way to essentially enable companies to pilot them at no cost to the companies. So we've set up a structure where grant money can be used to fund a pilot. So again, like no cost to the employer, where it covers the training fee. Then
A second cohort would be split 50-50. So the companies would put in half, the grant would put in half to cover that training fee. Then by the time they get to the third cohort, the companies, they've already put in money, they're willing to put in again. And so it essentially creates a way for companies to trial the product, essentially, kind of lowering their risk and commitment, increasing their willingness to try it. Then they realize, oh, actually, this is a great model. These are really great. This is great talent. They're confident at what they're doing. It meets our technical requirements and pipeline. And so it means they're willing to, I guess, keep buying. And rather than the grant paying for it, it means that companies are paying for it. So it helps, certainly, helps with retention, and it keeps ARR up rather than just seeing like a drop off cliff when the grant ends.
Thank you for that. It looks like a few people want to know about your revenue. Could you explain what your revenue split looks like by client?
Yeah, yeah. So we don't have, one big client essentially that's paying us. Actually, I think if we look at 2023, the most of the clients are anywhere from like the 2 to 12% rate. So it is pretty good, pretty well split. There's one client that's just around 25%. And that's specifically for B2B revenue. We do have some smaller ones as well. So no, we're not reliant on one big one.
Thank you. And I love this next question. Someone from the audience wants your thoughts on why do you think existing players haven't moved into this space already?
Yeah, so this is a good one. We kind of talked to different players in the market, and essentially it comes down to prohibitive cost structures. So since kind of all the other players use a knowledge transfer model and are dependent upon an instructor, essentially when you start getting or looking at, how do I get a senior embedded engineer, a senior DevOps engineer who's going to essentially be my instructor, their salaries are super expensive, right? Like you're paying market rate to folks, and I guess what that does is it increases the cost per apprentice to a point that it's essentially prohibitive, which is not worthwhile for folks to go into it. So I get again, this is our specialty. This is what we've been doing for a long time. We have our learning platform that brings down costs. So for us, it's doable. It makes sense. I think for others, I think it's just a lot more difficult for them to go into this space, largely because of the salaries and market trends. Of course, the economic, or I guess the talent situation isn't really helping, where there's a low unemployment rate, but still a high demand in these areas.
Oh, that makes sense. One of the questions that came in, just kind of circling back to your revenue model. So the question is, if it's $10,000 per apprentice, how do you get to 7.5 million with 350 apprentices?
That is not only revenue that comes purely from the apprenticeship side. We still have licensing, and that's growing. Then we also have some money that comes in through pre-apprenticeship programs that feed our apprenticeship pipeline. So the math doesn't add up purely for the apprenticeship side. It's because there is revenues coming in elsewhere.
No, that makes sense.
But I love that somebody did the math. That's awesome.
And then I think we have time just for one more question. Someone asked if you could talk a little bit more about your previous experience in raising money. Have you raised money? If so, how much and what kind?
Yeah, so we raised pre-seed money. We did a pre-seed A of about 600,000, and then a pre-seed B at 850. So we're raising a seed round.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Well, thank you for answering the questions. And, we're so excited to see what's next for Quasar. And again, turning it back over to Heather to introduce our next entrepreneur.
Thank you, Jennifer. I love that you're tackling the most advanced jobs in the industry using an apprenticeship model. That's near and dear to my heart. Next up, we have Lawrence Wagner, who recognized that cyber careers are in huge demand, but also that lower income workers typically do not have access to those jobs. His company, Spark Mindset, is creating a bridge to create exciting pathways between workers from all different kinds of backgrounds into cybersecurity careers. Please join me in welcoming Lawrence Wagner.
Hello, my name is Lawrence Wagner, and I'm the CEO and founder of Spark Mindset. And we help prepare families in historically disadvantaged communities for cybersecurity careers through a virtual registered apprenticeship program. Meet Chris. Chris comes from a single-family home in the projects of Cleveland, Ohio. As he was going through his school progression, Chris became disengaged in schools because he didn't see a pathway forward by going to school. He didn't see a future, he didn't see a career. And so Chris ended up in the prison to pipeline, from the school to prison pipeline. And he's currently incarcerated right now. This is why I do what I do, because Chris is my brother. There's also another problem in cybersecurity. It lacks a diverse talent pipeline. There will be 3.5 million unfilled jobs in cybersecurity by 2027. And right now there is 40,000 open jobs in the US. And I got to see this firsthand as I worked for the Missile Defense Agency in the IT department. So we take people from historically disadvantaged communities and we connect them to companies with a pipeline shortage. We provide students with a rigorous program that prepares them for a cybersecurity career. We provide workforce centers with a industry-aligned standard that we partner with CompTIA with, and we provide industry with the critical workforce that they so desperately need. So our pre-apprenticeship program is 7 months. We prepare people for the CompTIA Network Plus certification. We prepare them with soft skills, and it's a prerequisite to get into our apprenticeship program. Our apprenticeship program is 15 months. After someone starts our program for 1 to 2 months, they will begin our GRC project, and that will get them to start making money and getting on the job experience. We also provide them with the Colorado State University remote workforce certifications and the CompTIA Security Plus certification. So the cybersecurity market is a $153 billion market. We're focusing on cybersecurity training and the GRC program, and that is a $6 billion opportunity. So through our customer acquisition, we will look to help fill our pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs by partnering with workforce centers, the Colorado Department of Labor. We will work with intermediaries like JFF and the Space ISAC and CompTIA to help us connect to industry partners. And we will begin to reach out to organizations that need compliance and policy audits in order for them to do business, and that would be a great way for us to generate revenue. So our GRC apprenticeship program, GRC stands for Governance, Risk Management, and Compliance. And so this is work that we go in and help companies that uses credit cards, or companies that have PI, personal information, or companies like hospitals that have HIPAA regulations. And so we audit those companies to make sure that they are meeting the cybersecurity standards that they need in order for them to do business. This will become our primary revenue for Spark Mindset. And our apprenticeships, again, will start going through this, doing these projects with us once they've been with us for 1 or 2 months. And they will spend 1 or 2 months just getting work experience by doing these audits, so we can measure whether they have the skills and the soft skills needed before we place them with the company. So the markets that we're targeting right now is Colorado. I currently serve on the Colorado Workforce Development Council, and that has allowed me to build relationships with multiple schools and industries and local government partnerships within Colorado. I am also looking to partner with Maryland, DC, and Virginia because that's the #1 place for cybersecurity. And I also go to UC Berkeley part-time for my master's in cybersecurity. So while I'm in California, I will be looking to expand our program into California as well. And these three locations have considerable grant funding available for those who are looking to expand apprenticeship programs. So our path forward is we want to work with JFF on future workforce development grants. We're currently working with them on the Opportunity Now grant in Colorado, and we look to work with them in more grants moving forward. We need introductions to industry partners to place our apprentices and to do GRC projects. And we are looking for help in hiring a contract salesperson. Thank you for listening to my presentation. That is all that I have. Please reach out if you can provide us with any assistance on the things that we listed. Have a great day.
Go ahead.
Lawrence, thanks so much for that. I'm excited for our audience to hear more about Spark Mindset and dive into these questions. You talked about your path forward and the current states that are apprenticeship friendly, as well as provided grant funding. Can you talk to us a little bit more about what kind of support or resources would be most helpful for you to achieve your growth goals for Spark Mindset?
Yeah, we are looking for strategic partners with education institutes and government agencies and industry partners to increase our reach and credibility, as well as to partner with additional grants. And so we look at working with grants. There's the apprenticeship market. There's a lot of grants that are being poured from different entities, federal, state, and we look at that as a launching pad to help us scale.
Thank you for that. It looks like this next one's around students. So during your presentation, you talked about your rigorous apprenticeship program offerings. Can you talk to us a little bit more about what kind of feedback you received from previous students and how have their lives been impacted?
Yes, so from our previous students, we've gotten a lot of feedback on how it's impacted their lives, how that they didn't have access to training like this, and how it gave them confidence, it gave them technical knowledge, but it also gave them the ability to see themselves out of the situations that they're in. And it has connected them to different mentors and other people who have made a difference in their lives.
That's awesome. You guys are making such an impact. And I love this next question. It's what advice do you have for potential customers who may be hesitant to try your services for the first time, I should say?
Yeah, I would say as we post our testimonials, to look at our testimonials from our students, look at the job trends, right? So right now there's a huge shortage in cybersecurity. There's not enough talent coming in to fill these jobs. And so we're looking to shift that paradigm where, you're not saying you have to have a ton of experience for entry-level jobs. And then we're looking to create pathways from medium, mid-range jobs as well. So our unique approach is a way to impact our students. And we invite you to even come to watch a class. And so you can come see one of our trainings and see exactly what our students are learning.
Thank you for that. And this next one kind of expands upon some of the things you touched upon when you were answering this previous question. So in your presentation, you talked about the cybersecurity pipeline, the number of unfulfilled jobs. Can you elaborate on what role do you see your business playing in the apprenticeship and cybersecurity industries?
Yeah, we see ourselves as being a driving force in bridging the skill gaps in the cybersecurity industry. We know that we will provide high quality and high jobs to underserved communities. We will diversify that pipeline that's coming in. Women, veterans, people of color, getting access. Right now, the cybersecurity industry is 20% are minorities that's in cybersecurity. So we look to increase those rates by also providing talent that companies did not have access to before.
Thank you for that. Looks like this next one, it says, in your presentation, you talked about the GRC apprenticeship program being your primary source of revenue. Can you talk to us about what opportunities do you see for your business to expand into new markets, and what steps are you taking to pursue those opportunities?
Yeah, I think the GRC space is one of the spaces that is growing. We have companies that need these kind of audits to propel their businesses. But as we began to partner with more schools, colleges, and workforce development people in other states like California and Maryland, Virginia, and Texas, we look to, optimize those industries. We look to get into like CMMC training, but as we increase this pipeline and as we show that our apprentices can do work, then we look to tap into other auditing industries to propel, to give our apprentices training, but to also grow Spark as a leading cybersecurity auditing company.
Lawrence, thanks so much for that. And remember, audience, please keep dropping your questions into the chat. And I am going to turn it back over to Heather to introduce our final group of entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Lawrence. This is an exciting pathway, and I really can't wait to see how far you go. And so when we're looking for companies to join our cohorts, we look for non-competing companies who are aligned around a common theme. Most of these companies turn out to be very complementary. And our next three presenters realized this very early on, that their businesses were very adjacent to each other. In addition to their pitch today, they have a very exciting announcement to make. I am so pleased to introduce to you today Taylor, Naomi, and Kyrie and their company, Stimuli.
Hi, my name is Taylor Shedd. I'm the CEO and founder of Stimuli Studios. At Stimuli, we're educating the world by producing AI-powered video games that help make kids smarter and train them for the workforce. I started Stimuli because of my own personal experience growing up the youngest of 7 kids to earn a Division I scholarship to play sports in college. At that time, I had a vision for becoming a reconstructive plastic surgeon, and it wasn't until I was in a college chemistry class that I realized I did not have the math skills to persist with my degree. I took that passion and dropped out of Loyola Marymount University in order to pursue my life mission of helping educate the world and making sure that high school students were more prepared for the workforce. This work started in 2016 with the Dallas Independent School District. If you look at the photo to the left, that's me in the middle with all the kids. And ultimately, I helped mentor them through that first year to teach them all the skills I wish I had known before I entered college. If you fast forward to today, we have hired many of these students to work full-time for us in our engineering department. Our vision at Stimuli is that we'll use video games and AI to build the world's largest and most inclusive K through career platform. With that said, I'm more excited than ever to announce the partnership and the merger of Infinity.careers and Opti into Stimuli. We met at the Jobs for the Future Entrepreneurs in Residence cohort, and we decided if we really wanted to accelerate our impact to the world and scale, that what better way to do it by working together in partnership with Naomi Thomas stepping on as our head of digital and Kyrie Kemp stepping on as our head of operations. Their backgrounds are super diverse and bring to the table exactly what we need at Stimuli. When you look at Infinity's careers backgrounds, they have spent time developing an AI career matching tool that allows learners to discover their passion and then get matched to a career pathway on the way to a career of their dreams. At Infinity Careers, Naomi has spent most of her time focused on the adult learning market and developing career pathways. We're excited to bring over 3,000 adult learners into the Stimuli platform because of her outstanding work. With Kyrie Kemp at Opti, he spent time helping make sure high school students were able to go from learning to interning, and has worked with exciting partners like Dallas ISD and Johnson & Johnson. He's bringing his operations expertise to the team in order for us to, again, get down to execution and scaling to our vision of the future. You'll hear from them later on the work that they're doing at Stimuli and the technology and the customers that they're bringing forward that are helping us accelerate our impact to the world. Now for the problems that we're seeking to solve together. When you look at the world, the largest problem that we're facing is upskilling folks for the 100 million jobs that are getting ready to be displaced by AI. So the problem that we're seeking to solve is access and equity in K through grade career navigation, with a focus on how we engage learners through video games and how we drive a personalized learning experience for every single learner on our platform. When you look at our work and you're asking why is Stimuli equipped to take on this challenge, we always start by serving our learners and co-designing our platforms with some of the largest school systems in the world. The foundation of our game-based platform was co-designed with the Dallas Independent School District, the second largest school district in Texas, which has 140,000 students, 86% who are economically disadvantaged, and over 77% who are Hispanic and Black. We are proud to report that after the launch of our educational metaverse in August of 2021, that students using our platform reached mastery in science and math at 75 and 80%, way outperforming their peers and completely blowing out the national average of only 25% of 8th graders being proficient in math. In our platform, we're building so that every learner in America has a personalized learning pathway, and every high school student can ignite their passion through our career discovery tools, train and participate in digital internships and apprenticeships on a one-to-one scale, and last but not least, get matched to a job that they are uniquely qualified for in a high-wage, high-demand career. The technology that undergirds this all is called our Navigator. If you look at this screenshot in the middle, the player is on a career pathway to become a Tesla solar technician. The system has identified where the learner is in their academic journey. That's their starting point. We've set the destination into a highly wage, high demand career. And right now the learner's focused on becoming proficient in Algebra 2. This is the power of our system. When you're looking at this, you might say, okay, how are you going to build all the content that can move a learner from where they are in K-12 through college and credential attainment into career? We do that by leveraging our Navigator to integrate third-party content so we can literally scale and serve across all career pathways, all content areas. The best part about this partnership and this technology is it was built by our good friend Pram, who used to run the Google Maps development team out of India. He left Google about 12 years ago and said that he wanted to take his understanding of AI machine learning and GPS navigation and apply it to the learning space. Pram had successfully scaled his Navigator technology to 29 million learners, and now we're working in partnership together in order to develop a video game leveraging the Navigator's core technology. And as soon as that video game is fully scaled, we plan to bring it right back and bring in the 29 million learners that are working in his ecosystem. I'm going to turn it over to Naomi to talk more about how she's helping us turn brands into metaversities.
Hi, everyone. So when I founded Infinity Careers, our focus was on turning brands into universities, and I'm excited to spearhead Stimuli's efforts in turning brands into metaversities where anyone can learn through the curriculum of their dream career. We're focusing mainly on merging the technology we built with Infinity Careers in the career discovery portion, where we're leveraging our AI-powered matching tool to match learners' interests and passions directly to career pathways. So with that, we brought 3,000 adult learners that have already mastered and matched to careers in technology, and we're leveraging this AI technology to extract real job description skills and match them to the industry's top learning material to build educational curriculum. So, for example, a learner like Jennifer, who has studied at UNC Charlotte in information systems, she can get matched to a career that aligns with her passions, whether she's interested in different industries, music, beauty, sports, fashion. She can get matched to careers that are often overlooked, like a software engineer at Nike or a data scientist at Sephora. Then she will begin to train through the curriculum of the career and roles that she's matched to. So it's a little bit more intentional, and she has a better North Star as she navigates her career. And finally, within the metaverse, she's able to work and experience real life simulations, apprenticeships, and internships, all within a virtual immersive experience.
We plan to take the same user journey that we'll take these adult learners on and apply it to the K through 12 space, where middle school students can start career discovery, they can get matched to a career within their passion, and they can spend their high school years not only becoming academically proficient, gaining industry certifications, but participating in digital internships and apprenticeships within our virtual world, so that by the time they graduate high school, they're ready for work in a career of their dreams. What we're really focused on right now, and have historically been focused on at Stimuli, is serving middle school and high school students and opportunity youth, as well as early career professionals and college students. With our partnership with Infinity.careers and that merger, we're now going to be able to accelerate into the adult learning market, as well as reaching learners through the Jobs for the Future ecosystem. If you're wondering, how in the world is Stimuli going to accomplish this alone? Then the answer is we're not. This is the Stimuli universe of partners. When you look at this, to the left, starting with content, we believe that through video games and premium content partners, that we can use our core navigator technology and this video game-based metaverse in order to deliver the most high quality content that teach kids through their academic learning in K-12, all the way through to industry certifications and to getting a job. When you look at the technology that's undergirding this, as we've mentioned, it's our Navigator technology created by the nonprofit Guru, as well as our partner at SkyHive that's delivering us real-time labor market data to make us the most robust K through grade career platform in the world. When you look at culture, we believe that our lived experience is why we will win in this market and why we can ensure that people who have formerly been left out or not engaged in the educational process will be attracted to know that there is a career and an opportunity for them to make it out of generational poverty through careers in technology. Last but not least, we have our research partners. We're partnered with Southern Methodist University, Jobs for the Future in America Succeeds, who are all committed to helping us through rapid cycle research on each aspect of our platform, so that as we produce new innovations, we can test them in the lab and then we can scale them globally. Now, last but not least, we have our unique partners that have joined into this platform to build their own unique buildings and worlds that can help us serve learners through this very diverse metaverse ecosystem. Just highlighting a few, we have High School for Recording Arts, who is building a world where students can learn how to run their own record label and also get science and math credit for it. We have partners like Arizona Autism Charter Schools, who's deeply focused on moving the needle for the 85% of adult learners with autism that are unemployed, even if they have a college degree. We have school districts, public schools, private schools, charter schools, and micro schools that are all leaning into this vision and want to enter into our universe in order to best engage in personalized learning for their students. As far as traction and proven outcomes, you heard me mention before how students using our pilot game-based world reach mastery at 80% in math. The other stats that we're really excited to talk about is how we've accelerated learning by 2.89 years within one academic school year. During the pandemic, students in California using our system accelerated their learning, whereas students in the same school district not using our Navigator system experienced learning loss. The other stat that we're very keen on tracking is earnings. We want to make sure that every learner in our platform has the opportunity to experience paid internships, apprenticeships, and jobs. We're proud to report that students using our platform from the Dallas Independent School District earned over $1.7 million just from summer internships, and we look forward to scaling that impact nationwide. So just summarizing the benefits and the outcomes of using our platform, we're looking at how we're decreasing dropout rates, we're increasing engagement, motivation, and persistence in academic subjects, and we're getting students high-wage, high-demand jobs as soon as they're ready for the workforce. When you look at our business model, we have our Metaverse as a Service model that we charge $25 per learner per year, no matter which academic institution or intermediary is using our software. We give each partner the ability to build a building on our world, which costs anywhere between $10,000 to $50,000 for us to configure their brand and their assets in our world. And last but not least, for the partners that absolutely love the idea of leveraging our engaging technology to support their learners, we have partners investing anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million to bring in their programming into our universe. We can continue to enhance our world with customized and personalized assets, but we're excited to now talk more about the financial results that Stimuli has received already. Last school year, we closed with $1.7 million in revenue. This year, we're tracking between $2 million and $2.5 million. We're moving from $1.7 million, where we were serving 3 school districts and 1 foundation partner, to now we have 12 signed contracts with organizations and education institutions, with about 40 more that we're excited to bring in pipeline. Now I'm going to turn it over to Kyrie, our head of operations, to talk about what he's bringing to the table with his merger into Stimuli.
Thanks, Taylor. So yeah, I guess speaking to this really quickly, it's really just that we are stronger together. And so the work that I've done at Opti, bringing on districts like Riverside Unified District, Santa Ana, Durham Public Schools, right, easily folds right into what we're doing at Stimuli together. But if you notice at the top, we also work with Dallas ISD, which made it a no-brainer because Taylor had existing work in the district as well. In terms of our corporate partners, Johnson & Johnson is a major partner, and they're on board with what we're doing at Stimuli now as a combined entity. And I'll really just say that, you know, at Opti, we were able to get more than 30,000 students on our platform. And so bringing those students over to just really enrich the ecosystem, I think is a big part. So not only are there partners in school districts, but there's a direct revenue impact that I really like in terms of combining efforts here. Now, I'll go to the next slide and I'll talk about what I'm most excited about. So through our time during the EIR program, I've been able to learn a lot about different JFF initiatives and just how easily we could partner together to reach both the JFF North Star and our goal of becoming the largest and most inclusive K to grade platform in the world. So one example of this is just that the go-to-market approach of JFF right now is they're reaching out to companies like Walmart and Roblox and Meta, and that's just such a great fit for us to be the go-to-market partner because we're the execution, we're the vehicle that JFF can use to deliver on these partnerships. So I'll go to the next slide to give you a little bit more detail. And the next slide here talks about a very specific example where we can partner up with JFF in this go-to-market approach with Roblox. So Roblox has 59 million daily active users, and together, JFF, Stimuli, and Roblox are partnering to create a 3D game environment that can actually focus on green jobs, clean energy jobs, and emerging tech jobs. And that's in the works right now. And once again, I'm really excited about it. And I'll pass it over to Taylor for the next slide.
As you've heard from my team today, we feel like we have everything it takes to take this company from where we are now all the way through a unicorn to an IBO to a $1 trillion company. Just highlighting a few of the other resources that we have that we're very excited about is Kim Porter, our senior UX and UI designer who used to work at Disney and Pixar, designing mobile apps for Toy Story, Star Wars, and Barbie. And also Devin Shotsky, our VP of production, who worked at Adventure Academy and Age of Learning from the time it was an idea on paper all the way to a full market. When you look at our use of funds and our fundraise, we're currently raising $5 million. We did close a seed round last year with investment from Tim Draper, Valor Ventures, and Slauson & Company. We're looking to raise money this year in order to accelerate growth and product expansion. Our key hires will be a VP of sales that will set up a formal internal sales organization to continue to drive our licensing and ARR revenue. We'll bring in account managers to work with our corporate partners and also more engineers to continue building out on the largest and most inclusive K through career platform in the world. The key milestones we'll look to hit is closing about $2.5 million in revenue in 2023, but then increasing revenue up to $7 million the following year and $17 million the next year. Again, we plan to do this through our go-to-market partners like Jobs for the Future, Southern Methodist University, and others that we're very excited to help you learn more about. Now, this is one of the most important slides that we can talk about today. With your $5 million investment, the Stimuli technology will help close the skills gap, promote inclusivity, drive economic growth, foster innovation, and promote lifelong learning. The output that you can expect to help us achieve in this world is increased productivity by our workforce in America. We'll have cost savings because we'll have a reduced burden on social welfare systems when you're taking low-income students and you're helping them get into high-wage, high-demand jobs and get out of generational poverty. We'll overall have an improved human capital and talent pool that'll drive innovation and economic growth for our country. And overall, what we can expect is more job creation, enhanced revenue generation, and business opportunities for the next generation. Help us create scalable impact by joining our investment round of $5 million. We've got about $3 million left in the round, and we're excited to fill it out. And even if we can get oversubscribed to continue investing in this vision, you can go-to-market proposals with us and identifying some of your partners that have a vested interest in seeing this impact get made in the world. And last but not least, if you know any industry partners who have talked about the power of video games, but have no idea how to start exploring this industry, we're here and willing to help them bring their brand into our environment to promote diversity, equity, inclusion, and lifelong impact for learners across the world. Thanks so much for listening to our presentation. We're excited.
Awesome pitch, team, and such an exciting announcement from you all. It looks like our audience shares similar excitement about the announcement and wants to know more. So getting into this first question, what impact have you seen at Stimuli since joining forces, and how has it been working together?
It's been phenomenal working together. I could probably spend hours talking about how impactful just the last 3 weeks since we have merged has been, but just to highlight a few of the impacts that we've seen since joining forces. One, we're accelerating our strategy to reach adult learners and expanding in order to go direct to consumer under Naomi's guidance. And really the next thing that Naomi has delivered to the table is if you take a look across all of our digital channels, especially on Instagram, we went from 500 followers to 5,000 overnight. And our brand is really starting to feel like the power of our company and really who we are. And then, last but not least, I can't speak to the more to the fact of, because these entrepreneurs and founders know the industry that we've been in and they've been studying it and obsessed with it over the last 5 years, the same way I have been, that they literally came in day one and almost had zero onboarding time in order to start working with our products teams, our marketing teams, and just continue to push the vision forward. So overall, we've already been able to 10x our productivity just by bringing on, Kyrie as a integrator and executioner of the overall vision, and then Naomi, who kind of sits in between us, who completely understands the vision and also has the communication and marketing skills from her experience running a digital marketing agency to help make sure all of our internal teams understand exactly what we're driving for and then how we reflect that out to the broader world.
Thank you for that. And it's so exciting. We can't wait to watch your journey and see where you all take Stimuli. This next one looks like it's around the platform. So do K through 12 students access the platform directly or through their institution? Can you talk to us about who pays for / owns the subscription fee? And they're assuming per student FTE.
All right. So, right now, the way students access our technology is school districts or educational organizations have paid for them to have a license to our technology. So you're right. It's a subscription fee of $25 per student per year. In the future, soon in the future, we will be able to go direct to consumer, which we're extremely excited about. And of course, in that model, we'll have parents buying it for their kids. We'll have high school students that are subscribing and adult learners across the entire K through grade continuum who are looking to improve their earning potential subscribing to our platform.
Perfect. This next one, your organization seems to have many key components and partnerships established and or being developed. Can you talk to us a little bit more about what specific partner connections you're looking for? Are they corporate, schools, organizations? If you could expand upon that.
Absolutely. So we would love to partner with even more schools and organizations that want to help their learners navigate career pathways in the metaverse and help engage them in a really, really cool video game while measuring their skills and metrics at scale. We would also love to chat with companies interested in game-based learning partnerships and leveraging our platform to develop their future talent on autopilot while improving employer branding and becoming an extension of their career pages to make the job search journey even more powerful and dynamic. While our vision is to connect every learner even more to the world of 150 million career pathways available, the industries of focus for our fall of 2023 launch are finance, sports, music, fashion, and travel sectors. So dream companies we would love to work with are the NBA, Nike, Spotify, Enterprise, and any other innovative companies that are staying ahead of the game in workforce development like we are.
Thank you, Naomi. It looks like this next one's around revenue projections and scale. So let's talk a little bit more about your projections you shared during your pitch and the development of a sales team. How do you plan to efficiently scale considering the challenges with selling to schools?
Phenomenal question. So if you look at Stimuli, I would compare it to the Instagram model, where Instagram had 13 employees and the organization sold for $1 billion. How that shows up at Stimuli is our focus is delivering technology that can provide a high quality learning experience for learners and organizations across the country. With that said, our path to scale is not developing a 50 team sales team and having it one in every state and knocking on door by door trying to get into different school districts. We really scale by working with partners that are already serving tens of thousands, if not millions of students. Within our current ecosystem of partners, we are already reaching 100 million learners through the ecosystem. So really, these learners are waiting for us to accelerate product development in order to reach them. And what I'm most excited about is the big vision that our ecosystem partners hold of impacting 8 billion learners worldwide. And if you're counting that, you're like, Taylor, there's 8 billion people on the planet. How in the world are you going to do that? Well, in the next 10 years, we're expecting that every human on the planet will have some sort of access to Wi-Fi, even though different devices might look different and there'll still be some challenges in that accessibility. But because we know in the next 10 years, 8 billion people will have access to Wi-Fi, we're aligning ourselves with the world's largest organizations that have raised the largest amount of money and providing them our technology to reach their millions of learners, which then allows us to efficiently scale while we focus on bringing the culture, the technology, and the vision of how video games can transform learning at scale.
Right. And just to add on, that's exactly what you saw in the comments, right, with Heather, at Udemy. So something like that allows us to interact with that, provide that for her, and that's instantly 50 million, users. So that's just the speed of us enabling, these companies to do what they do best through the Stimuli platform.
Perfect. Thank you both. And you kind of touched upon this, just now, but you talked about some ambitious goals and how you plan to achieve them. People want to know, what's the ultimate vision for Stimuli?
The ultimate vision for Stimuli is that first we become a unicorn, and then we go public, and then we reach $1 trillion valuation. And if you're wondering why, the world has never seen entrepreneurs look like this. And we believe it's so important, and it's time that things are going to change where young women, everybody everywhere can see an example of a company that started from $0 and went on this pathway, and to know that they can do it too. So as far as the vision for Stimuli, one, I talked about our ambitious goals to go public, but two, even more importantly, we want to impact learners in every corner of the world. Although the United States is our focus today, what is deeply on our hearts are learners in India, in Africa, learners in Afghanistan, who right now, different systems are literally blocking them from being able to increase their human capital. We believe the metaverse in this video game world is an opportunity to almost recreate all of the structures of the world to provide access, equity, and opportunity to every human. And we're dedicated, and we're not going to stop until we reach that goal.
Thank you for that. And I love this last one just because, you talked about being that unicorn. So what do you all feel is your competitive advantage?
So I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to force my fellow Power Rangers to jump in here and speak as well. But I believe our competitive advantage is our lived experience. I'm a founder and CEO. I'm a proud Black, neurodiverse, queer woman. And the bonus point is I live in Texas. So I'll let you guys think about that for a second. But diversity is in our DNA. We focus on it first in an ecosystem where many edtech companies are not led by diverse founders. As we all know, less than 1% of venture capital goes to Black founders. The Q1 of this year, that number has dropped to 0.6%, but we're not going to let that stop us. And by joining forces and bringing together our lived experience of sometimes being the most marginalized people in different spaces and not having accessibility into all of the opportunities that we need, that's being coded into every single AI algorithm, every single character in the game. Everything we do is built around the power of the metaverse, which I believe is inclusion. I'm gonna turn it over to Kyrie and then Naomi to follow up with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really two things for me, right? The three founders coming together in this case is powerful. Our whys are extremely strong, right? And so, for example, for me, growing up low income, like I'm building Stimuli to be what I wish I had at that age, and everyone's on the same page, right? And just providing that. And then also, I'd say it's very rare that you see a system that exists for kids or for learners, whether they're students or adult learners, that's engaging and informative at the same time. And I think that what we bring through the world, really has the best of both worlds to create that value for students. So, I'll leave it there and pass to Naomi.
Yeah, and to echo, I mean, I'm aligned with everything that they're saying. I mean, we're coming together in a way that's never been done before. And as it relates to the product, we're really focusing on the learner experience and digging deep into that and meeting learners where they're at, no matter where they are in their learner journey, what skills they have, where they are in the world, and focusing on engaging them in a way that they're just learning with direction and having more of a North Star, right? So turning brands into metaversities and bridging the gap directly between education and the workforce to help all stakeholders, from the learners to the companies to the educators, all be aligned and provide more success through our innovative approach.
Thank you all so much for that. Really enjoy hearing from all of you. I'm going to turn it back over to Heather for closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Taylor, Naomi, Kyrie. Your energy and drive have been so amazing throughout this entire EIR program. And I have no doubt that you will achieve your unicorn goals. So can't wait to watch that happen. And just in closing, thank you to everyone for being here today. The JFF Demo Day will be available on YouTube Live in its entirety after today. We will use the email addresses that you provided when you registered to reach out with everyone's contact information. You should have that within the next 24 hours as well. We hope that you were all inspired by these entrepreneurs and their businesses, and we'll reach out to them to talk about investments and partnerships and whatever else you can dream up to do together. They're all really open to any of your ideas. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.